Wonderful people, hear this headline. If you can't speak for Biafra, you have no business in Nigeria. IPOB's fierce warning to Igbo politicians. There is what I call a brouhaha, or you can call it being in loggerheads, like the popular saying that when two elephants fight, that the grass suffers it. The IPOB is in a loggerhead with the Igbo politicians who lives in Abuja, eats in Abuja, and even govern their constituencies in Abuja, including their governors, their ministers, the House of Rep members, and also senators as well. Even the list of them, which is a local government chairman, councillor, all of them are living in Abuja. And tell me the reason why they will not siphon your money. But that is a story for another day. Because all this, their high lavish lifestyle is what makes them never to perform. You are holding an office of a councillor, but you want to live in Maitama, Abuja, where they rent or to buy a property there worth millions and billions of naira. As a councillor or local government chairman, you want to own a house there. You go sell your constituency now to the highest bidder so that you can get property in those areas. But let's focus on the issue that brought us here, the loggerhead between the the IPOB government and also that of Nigerian government officials of Igbo descent. Let me put it that way. But let me not waste much of your time. I would like you to listen to this clip, and then after that, we still have another headline. The Igbo the Igbo nation sacrifice and the Catholic Church moral responsibility for we to achieve this but first of all, let us listen to this clip first, and then we can divulge or dissect other headlines that follows this. Please, as you are watching, kindly like, share, comment, and make sure you keep subscribing for more interesting videos coming your way. My name never change. I still remain Okuro One Nation, or you can address me by my stage name, Okute Daily Talk 2. Now here we tell you all the whole things where they happen, but both the one will be best and the one will not be best. But I can promise you one thing: Kitikpa is going to fire some people, or rather, Kitikpa don't start to punish some Igbo politicians. Look at how Carlo is disgracing himself. My brother, spiritual Koboko is at work. Oh yeah, listen to this.
People of Biafra, IPOB, has intensified calls for accountability among Southeast politicians in Nigeria.
Let me use this opportunity to denounce whatever background music on this video, please. It is not a copyright, and I have no intention to copyright anybody's content. So I have no right to the copyright of that background sound. YouTube and Robert, please take note. Thank you.
Nigeria's National Assembly, urging supporters and media affiliates to prepare for what it describes as a major push to oust long-serving representatives accused of neglecting core regional demands. In a strongly worded message circulated on social media and attributed in part to prominent Biafran advocate and member of Directorate of State Mazi Chinasa Nworu, IPOB declared that politicians who have served for years in the Senate and House of Representatives without visible contributions to their communities or advocacy for Biafran self-determination must be sent home. The statement dismisses constitutional excuses, insisting that if self-determination is not accommodated in the current framework, politicians should amend it. The message highlights several long-standing grievances: failure to raise Biafran self-determination in legislative chambers, silence on alleged extrajudicial killings of youths in the region, inaction against multiple security roadblocks accused of serving as extortion points for local residents with a direct demand for their dismantlement, alleged use of parliamentary positions as shields for personal illicit activities or corruption. It warns that IPOB is actively reviewing and assessing the responsibilities and performance of Southeast politicians.
Once again, I have no right to the copyright of the background music you are hearing. Please take note, YouTube admin and the robot admin.
Stating that this year is unlikely to be amusing for those involved. The group positions itself as ready to engage in politics more effectively if needed, declaring, "If you cannot speak for Biafra's self-determination, then you have no business representing our region in that contraption called Nigeria." The statement, which calls for widespread sharing, aligns with recent activity from Chinasa Nworu, a member of Directorate of State of the Indigenous People of Biafra DOS, the highest decision-making body of the movement. On January 12, 2026, Nworu posted, "Biafrans, we have a job to do. We must never allow these criminal politicians to represent Biafrans again in the contraption called Nigeria. IPOB have tried to keep off from local politics, but we must make a loud statement that we are not ready to tolerate them." The post included media and received hundreds of engagements, including likes, reposts, and supportive replies. This rhetoric builds on earlier 2026 messaging from pro-IPOB voices, including urgings for Southeast lawmakers to sponsor bills facilitating a peaceful Biafran exit or referendum, demands that have recirculated among Biafra supporters. IPOB, founded by Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, has traditionally focused on peaceful advocacy for a UN-supervised referendum on independence while boycotting Nigerian elections. IPOB has long cited marginalization, economic neglect, heavy security presence, and human rights abuses in the Southeast as justification for Biafra agitation. The latest statement suggests a potential tactical shift toward greater direct pressure on regional politicians. IPOB, as a global mass freedom movement, has a very strong home-based support. This comes amid broader Biafra sentiments in early 2026, including parallel calls from other pro-Biafra groups for referendum preparations and peaceful self-determination. As IPOB signals heightened scrutiny of Southeast representation, the development underscores persistent frustrations in the region and could signal increased political volatility if IPOB translates its warnings into organized action.
So that is the message. And another headline, just like as I said earlier, the Igbo nation sacrifice and the Catholic Church moral responsibility. It's another matter we are going to treat as we are moving forward. The Roman Catholic Church is one of the most powerful religious institutions in the world of today. Both morally and structurally, within this institution, the Igbo people of current southeastern Nigeria, which is the Biafrans, have been among its most committed pillars in Africa. Their contribution to the growth, stability, and global reach of Catholicism is substantial, measurable, and historically undeniable. For decades, the Igbo nation has supplied the church with an extraordinary number of priests, bishops, religious sisters, theologians, and missionaries. We have served faithfully across Nigeria, Europe, the Americas, and beyond. Catholic institutions, seminarians, parishes, schools, and missions have thrived largely because of Igbo's dedication, sacrifice, and resilience. The contribution establishes not sentiment but responsibility. Yet today, as Igbo community face systematic marginalization and persistent violence against Christian populations in Nigeria, the institutional silence of the Catholic Church raises serious moral questions. Are you surprised? Church never solves any problem. Church is there to create more problems. That is the simple truth. Let us proceed. Blessed Cyprian Michael Iwenetansi stands as a defining symbol of Igbo Catholic commitment. Born in Aguleri, he was ordained a priest in 1937 and later embraced monastic life as a Trappist in England. His sanctity was recognized globally when Pope John Paul II beatified him in 1998. That same year, the Pope traveled to Nigeria, specifically to Owerri in the heart of Igbo land, to celebrate Tansi's beatification. This historic act publicly affirmed the spiritual depth of the Igbo Catholic community and acknowledged its immense contributions to the universal church. It therefore becomes difficult to reconcile such a recognition with the church's present reluctance to speak clearly when that same people are subjugated to ongoing insecurity, persecutions, and political exclusion. No honest assessment of Catholicism in Nigeria can ignore the Igbo role. Regions such as Mbise in Imo State, often described as the island of Nigeria, have produced over 650 Catholic priests and a comparable number of religious sisters across Igbo land. Similar patterns persist. These numbers are not ceremonial statistics. They represent generations of sacrifice, discipline, and unwavering loyalty to the Roman Catholic Church. The church strength in Nigeria was built in large part on Igbo faith and labor. Silence in the face of Igbo people's present suffering is therefore not neutrality. It is a moral failure to confront injustice where it is most visible. The ongoing genocide against Christian communities in Nigeria, the targeted insecurity in Igbo regions, and the systematic denial of political and economic equity are no longer disputed realities. When an institution of the church's moral statute refrains from speaking with clarity and fairness, that restraint carries consequences. The Catholic Church cannot credibly celebrate Igbo sacrifice in history while distancing itself from Igbo suffering in the present. The moral authority is not preserved by quiet diplomacy alone. It is sustained by the courage to confront injustice, especially when those affected have been among the church's most faithful contributors towards the welfare of the church, called Catholic. The question before the Catholic Church is no longer whether the Igbo people have earned solidarity. The question is whether the Church will apply its teachings on human dignity, justice, and the protection of persecuted Christians consistently, even when doing so is uncomfortable. History will record not only what the Igbo gave to the church, but how the church responded when that same people faced existential threats. Silence in such moments is itself a position. This message is very, very clear and very, very understandable. The church, how far? When you talk now, they will tell you, say you be Antichrist. Waiting everything where this guy list here, my brother, everything is true. There is no any single lie in it. I was born and raised in a Catholic home. Let me not say a Christian home. In a Catholic home. 99.99999% of the inhabitants of the village where I came from, the community where I came from, in fact, let me say the state where I came from, are all Christians. It's just a few of them are what I call it. After Catholic, they have Roman Catholic, and they have which can be the other name of this church? There's only two church then, but now all these Pentecostal don't scatter everywhere. Like the two church that are using Reverend Father and Reverend Sister, that is Catholic Church and Anglican. Yeah, Catholic and Anglican. Just few is Anglican in our midst. In the village where I came from. But in all these years, all these things that have been happening in Igbo land, most especially the Christian massacre, Rome remains silent. Let me not talk too much. I beg, help me to circulate this message. Let it go viral. Like, share, comment, and make sure you keep subscribing for more interesting videos.